Oh my god, I can't believe that. Okay, so I literally just recorded this entire video. It took me like an hour to record, and my mic was on mute for the entire thing. So let's go again. Aye, boom. Have you always wanted to make a loop kit, but think you can't because you don't have any of that music theory knowledge? Can't play piano, you don't understand chords. Don't worry, neither do I, and somehow I still managed to make a 50 loop kit. Here's how. I'm literally gonna run you through the process from start to finish, from start being the concept behind it to the finish of actually making the loop kit cover. But before we get into this video, I would greatly appreciate anyone that can hit the like button. It does tell other producers that they should be watching this kind of content. And also, if you're new around here, I would appreciate if you can hit the subscribe button. New content every Tuesday and Friday. All right, so the whole process behind making a loop kit. The first thing you want to think about when doing a loop kit is, first of all, how many loops you want to be and what kind of style loops you want to make for this loop kit. The reason I say that you want like a main style or genre is so that you have a main target audience for this loop kit. You want to be able to pitch it for like a certain group of producers. So let's say if you had like one hyperpop loop, one drill loop, one R&B loop, one trap loop, one death metal loop. Who is this loop kit for? Someone's trying to download a loop kit because they're looking for a certain genre of loops. So for me, obviously my loop kit is like 90% dark drill because, you know, that's what I literally make, with the occasional melodic, the occasional super trap loop in there. And then the reason that I chose 50 loops is because I wanted to make like a really big loop kit with a nice variety that any producer that downloads this kit, there will at least be one loop in there that they will want to use. Step number 2, how to make your actual loops. I'm gonna talk you through a couple of things that I do to help stay creative when making loops, help me get over like beat block or just not being able to make loops. All right, so you just want to open FL, you want to play some crazy difficult. No, I'm joking. You don't want to do any of this. Making drill loops is actually pretty easy in my opinion. Well, for the style that I make them anyway. For me, it's literally all about the processing, the mixing, layering sounds, finding the right sound selection, rather than the actual music theory and like complexity of chords and all of that kind of things. I mean, I literally usually just start off with like a 2-note chord and probably change one note in that thing. I know that this is a kick right now, but I'm just using this as an example. Like if I was just to start a loop off, I would probably use this as like a base of my chords. Then it's literally all about finding the right sound, the right mix and chain, all of that. Notable plugins that will help you achieve this are Halftime, Crystallizer, Effect Track, Effect Tricks, sometimes. I will say Portal, even though I don't really use it, even though I know it's really good. Little Alter Boy, and that's probably it, to be honest. Apart from like the obvious ones like your reverb, chorus, delay, all that kind of thing. All right, I'm just gonna run through with some examples right now. All right, for this loop, I want to use this as an example of layering sounds. So this is the full loop. Alright, nothing too crazy, yeah. Basically the exact same chord progression, just layered multiple times. So we started off in Expand with a pad that sounds like this, with this chord progression. Very simple chord progression, it's like changing one note every time. We came straight back into Expand and we took a choir this time, except for this middle note, we just pushed these middle notes up an octave, so it kind of gives it more of a range. See, if it wasn't pushed up an octave, it would sound like this. But when it's up an octave, it sounds a little bit nicer. We came straight back into Expand again, and we took an organ sound that sounded like this. Again, giving it more high end to the melody. Same chords, same progression, everything's the exact same. So this right here is kind of like the base of your loop, you know what I mean? After you kind of get this kind of bass, you want to be able to add in kind of like maybe like a main instrument or like a main vocal or something like that. We actually went for a string phrase, and the mix, we actually have quite a lot on the mix. We're using Gullfoss as well. If you don't know what Gullfoss is, it's like a dynamic EQ, I'm pretty sure, where it's kind of like fighting any of these harsh frequencies. And then on top of that as well, we came into Arcade next, I think. Yeah, we came into Arcade, distant voices, added a vocal, kind of like this. So we're just layering everything together. Alright, so now for this next example that I want to show you, this is kind of the example of how effects and your processing can really help shape your kind of loop. Okay, so this is the loop. So straight away you can kind of hear that this is kind of like the main element that you can kind of hear throughout the loop. And this is literally all down to processing. So the actual MIDI for this sound is from this. But obviously it didn't just sound like this straight away. This is due to Effect Track. Again, Effect Track is so goated. I use this in a lot of my melodies, especially for that kind of like crystallization kind of shit. This is literally what you get. You know what I mean? This sounds ass. That's why when you first hear a sound, always try to manipulate that sound into something else, because that's how you kind of create the most like unique melodies and stuff like that. And obviously the rest of the melody was, I think, just this simple chord progression. Pretty sure this is from Firelight, yeah. So a very simple pad. And I'm pretty sure we just added like a brass from Expand, yeah. And then to finish it off, we added a glockenspiel, I think. Yeah, it's a glockenspiel. Alright, so if you're starting to get a bit like beat blocked from like making loops from scratch, here's a couple ways to actually get past that. First way is sampling, and this is probably my favorite way of actually being able to make loops. Probably because of how ridiculously easy it is. Like literally anybody can do this. So this is the example. A low-key reminds me of PUG, I can't lie. When I first heard the vocal, I was like, yeah, mad. So you probably think that this is probably the girl that we're all on about, but it's actually not. This is a sample from a movie. I'm pretty sure it's some Greek movie. I can't remember exactly what it is. I just chopped it up. I got it on time. I laid it up here again. Once I got this, I was like, all right, obviously I need to add some more to it. Here, we came into Balkanetic Orchestra. Again, this is so... Balkanetic Orchestra is so perfect, especially when you're sampling things, because it just adds that extra kind of like textures to the background of it. Then after that, I felt like I still needed more textures, so we went to Splice, because Splice is so ridiculously goated. It fits perfectly. It's kind of like the same kind of Middle Eastern kind of vibe. And once again, we went into Splice again, and we found some kind of like background vocals. I thought these sounded crazy. I'm pretty sure I have a lot of processing on them though. Do I? No, I don't. I just added bare reverb and that was it. So this is a prime example of me not even playing one single chord and I still made like an entire loop. One common misconception is when people start sampling drill loops, I feel like everyone just tries to sample like them vocal kind of samples. Everyone's just trying to find like some Arabic sample to just try to get some vocals. That's not always the case. I normally try to sample like everything, anything that I can. As you can see, I was literally just chopping it bare times and it ended up just coming to something like this. I think this sounds hard. It could probably be used in drill, it could be used in trap, it can be used in various different ways. But literally all this was is just me slicing. All I was doing was slicing it and making sure these bass notes were hitting in time. Then also, if you're not having much luck with sampling, because I know a lot of people say to me either one, they can't find good samples, two, they can't sample properly, like they're just not good at sampling, which I don't really understand how you can't be good at sampling because it's extremely easy. But things that I would like to do then, if you're struggling to make loops, you can't sample, use VSTs that you never use, or use plugins that you never use, try new things. For me, for an example, I never ever use one-shots. So when I was making these, I was getting a bit burnt out of everything, so I said, all right, you know what, let me go to my one-shot folder and let me have a mess around with something from here. Or if you don't have any one-shots, go to Splice, because Splice has some crazy sounds on it as well. Just as like a little starter. Then once you get like that starter, you can either like try flip that a bit, add things to it, you know what I'm saying? There's various different options to go with. This is the loop. It's a pretty kind of spooky kind of loop, I can't lie. Kind of sounds like something from like a horror game or something. It's actually from Shark Boy's one-shot kit. Now originally it didn't sound like that. Again, we added effects track onto it again because effects track is so good. The original loop actually, or the original one shot, I mean, actually sounded like this. It was like a one shot texture kind of thing. I'm pretty sure I added effects track and I doubled the length of it as well. I think I stretched it over 8 bars instead of 4. 50% of my loops, man, I'm always using the pad from that just because of the textures in it are crazy. Oh yeah, this one's actually kind of sauce, hang on. So for this, we came in and we took a cello phrase and we pitched it down 2 whole octaves. So without any of the mix on it, it sounded like this. I added some halftime onto it. I EQ'd the lows. I added some reverb. I added a crystallizer and some pancake. And then it eventually sounded like this, which I thought was perfect because obviously this was a bit of a spooky loop. I wanted that like kind of scariness of the atmosphere. But that next, we jumped over to Splice and we took this. Also jumped over to Splice. I'm telling you, don't sleep on Splice. Splice has got the best stuff, man. We took this. It's called a Ghost Shriek. Sounds like something from a video game or something. And then we took one other ghost thing. The start of every 4, we took a gas. And as you can tell, with everything layered together again. All right, I hope I have covered all the different kind of ways in which I go about making my loops and how I make them and my thought process behind the loops. So now when all your loops are finished, please make sure you label them, put your BPM, put your key on them, swid them. You now need a cover for your loop kit. Be able to post it on whichever website you're deciding to post it on. I actually do normally do some of my cover art. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. For this one, I did it myself, and I'm gonna talk you through like the whole thought process behind the whole loop kit cover itself, because it's a little bit abstract, I can't lie. All right, so the original concept that I had for this was, obviously I was making 50 loops, so I obviously wanted 50 to be like the main like selling point to this. For me to do that, I was thinking, all right, let me put 50 in the middle of it, and then let me put 50 other 50s around the loop kit. This is what I kind of came up with, but to be honest, I wasn't really feeling it that much. Someone, I put it on Instagram and someone commented being like, yeah, it looks like a 50th birthday card, which is kind of true as well. Anyway, I feel like there's a good concept for an idea there, but I'm not really that much of a graphics designer, so I didn't really know how to execute it fully. This way, I wanted to really emphasize the whole thing of it being 50 loops, you know what I mean? That was my main selling point to this. So instead, I came to Google, and I'm pretty sure I typed in 50 background. Let me see if I can actually find it this way. Yes, I did. I typed in 50 backgrounds because I was looking for ideas with 50. I was like, all right, what kind of backgrounds can I do with 50? Blah, 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 all of this. And all of a sudden, I seen the periodic table, and I seen tin, and I said SN, and the atomic number of it was 50. So I seen SN, and I was thinking, all right, well, I'm SlipperyHaze, which is SH. So I was like, all right, maybe I can do something with the periodic table where I change the N to a H, so it's SH. Then it's got 50 on it. And I can kind of go, I can run with this kind of theme. Which then led me to this first draft of the loop kit cover. As you can see, we still have the 50 on here. We've got the SH for the creator, SlipperyHaze. She's the electronic configuration of tin. Then we've also got the release date on it, DAW used, which is FL Studio. We've got the wave format, and we've also got the molecule structure. This is again 50 written in a different kind of font, which then led me to my final draft, where I have kind of just moved the entire image up a little bit. There was a lot of space down the bottom. There was a lot of space up the top, and I needed to fill it in with something, so I added in a text box. Again, this is kind of something that you'd see from like a book or something. It says the 50 loop kit by SlipperyHaze. This kit includes 50 loops crafted for all your loop needs. All rights are reserved by the owner and must be cleared for any publishing works. Everything 50-50 splits. I added just like white background onto it, just to kind of give it, again, just that simple kind of feel to it. And then finally, everything is good to go. But then you have the big question as to where am I going to upload this? Is it going to be free? Am I going to get people to pay for it? Now, for me personally, if you're a smaller producer, I would definitely recommend making it free. Putting out free loop kits are such a good example of how to get some organic growth. This method would have been a lot more popping maybe like a year ago than it is now, because it is getting pretty saturated. A lot of people are putting out loop kits, so this doesn't really work as well as it used to. Regardless, for me, I'm still going to be uploading this exclusively to Instagram, and obviously I want to use Instagram for more so the promotional side of it. If you don't understand the steps that I'm on about, it literally means you need to share the post onto your story, you need to tag people in the comments, and you must be following me on Instagram. So I'm trying to drive all the traffic straight through my Instagram. It's a decent approach, and it can sometimes have a crazy reach. But yeah, if you're wondering where this loop kit is, it's on my Instagram. Go over to my Instagram right now. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it. I do hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit of a different kind of approach to it. I hope you took something from this, whether it's maybe some kind of melody sauce or some kind of inspiration, motivation. I don't know what it is, but I hope you did enjoy. Like I said, if you've made it this far in the video, I would appreciate a like. If you're new around here, make sure you subscribe. And yeah, loop kit out now. Run over to my Instagram, man. I will be probably hosting some kind of like beat battle thing to do with this loop kit, so I would advise anyone to go download this, start making beats with it, because somewhere in the next week or 2 weeks I will be doing something with it. So get the head start now, start using some of the loops. Yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Run me up on Instagram and Twitch, because they're the only two things to care about. I'm out. Good luck. See you later. Bow.